And because the barley was Haviv, it was not damaged. The barley for the Jews, for the Israelites, was not damaged because it was already ripe. So they could now connect the Passover with what? The Haviv or barley in Egypt. And at that time, wheat takes 7 times 7 weeks to ripen after the barley. That's why we have the Omer count of 7 times 7 from the Passover to the harvest of wheat. Remember, these are 2 harvests in spring. There's the barley harvest and there's a wheat harvest. In between them is 7 times 7 weeks. Always the Lord's number. Are you getting me? Yes. So he made sure that he tells them count 7 times 7. And the wheat at the time of the hailstorm was not destroyed, though it was outside. That is God intervening. But the lamb was a symbol of their God, and the Israelites ashamed them and ate it. So they were despising this. What is this? They're even putting blood on the doorpost. They must have been, look at this. They are killing our God, But to wake up when all their kids, all their firstborn, be it a goat or a chicken, it had to die that night. That means their God was sleeping that night when he was supposed to be at his maximum strength. Don't you think that is ridiculous? They felt so ashamed. That's why when you watch this, the 10 Commandments, you see Pharaoh putting the son on Amnon, crying out, God, where are you? And then the wife was just there abusing him seriously, laughing at him. Where is your God? Is he sleeping? He was really sleeping. So now, do you see when the Palm Sunday now comes in? So when does the Palm Sunday now come in? It's not even Sunday. It was a Sabbath. We don't deal with any Sundays in the Bible. So the Palm Sabbath was what? In verse 13, they took branches of palm trees and went forth to meet him and cried, Hosanna, blessed is what? Is the King of Israel that cometh in the name of the Lord. You know where they used to sing this? The same time the Lord entered from the one gate, and the other gate, the sheep were being led in, those that were chosen for the feast. But everyone had to bring in that yearling lamb as a sacrifice on that day. And people came from, for example, here from Luton, from Manchester. They all had to converge where? In Jerusalem. They all brought sheep. They had millions and millions of lambs. Are you getting me? But as these lambs were being led in that gate up where they go into the where they're going to be selected and taken for slaughter on the 14th day, Yeshua was now also coming in. And this blessed is he that comes was always sung for the lambs that were being led in. That's why the Pharisees came and shouted, stop singing this for him. And that's when he said, if they don't sing, they what? The stones will also sing for me. But this all now seals in the way the Lord really fulfilled all these feasts, which were shadows in the Old Testament, and they were being fulfilled right in front of their eyes. And John knew exactly what was going on, so he could now relate it very well. Are we getting something here? Let us go now then and go down a little bit. And it says, fear not, the daughter of Zion. Behold, thy king cometh sitting on an ass colt. These things understood not his disciples at the first, but when Yeshua was glorified, then remembered them that the things were written of him, and that they had done these things unto him. So what do we understand with a colt? You know, an ass colt? An ass colt is a donkey that has not been ridden, sat on before. And in the Hebrew culture, this was an experienced animal. No experience at all. And a king would ride such an untrained beast when he was on a mission of peace. You see how these things really go the same? He's the King of peace. And this was also predicted by Zechariah 9:9. If you go to Zechariah 9:9, you're going to see the same thing being spoken, the same way. That's how the prophets now link up with the Passover. They link up with these very important feasts. That's why we should really keep them holy and proclaim them and teach them, people. So John gave everything in detail. We see now that, have you gone to Zechariah? Can we open there and read it, please? 9:9. Can even go down because 9:9, it goes down to give us what Zechariah meant. You there to read for us?
What verse?
9:9.
Re-
9:9.
Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion.
Mm.
Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem.
Mm.
Behold, the King cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass.
You see, the fowl is an inexperienced. He was symbolizing the king. To them, in the Hebrew culture, they knew exactly what he was talking about. But for us, because we don't know these things, we don't really relate to these things. He was fulfilling everything that was prophesied. And a lot of Zechariah is the prophecy about Yeshua, his first coming and his second coming. We need to study this book and understand it properly. Let us go down a little bit more. We can read 10 up to at least up to 16.
And I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto the heathen.
You shall do what? You shall speak peace unto the heathen. Heathen are us, yeah?
And his dominion shall be from sea even to sea, and from the river even to the ends
So
of
this
the
was
earth.
talking about Yeshua. His dominion is going to be down. He's coming as a king of peace. Are you getting me here? Mm-hmm.
As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant I have sent forth thy prisoners, and out of the pit wherein is no water.
You know what that means? That like Joseph, you know Joseph was thrown in a pit. At that time, pits like that where wells were dry were used as prisons, holding places before they sell you off because they kill you. Are you getting me? So here, Zechariah was indicating that the Lord was going to come like Joseph and then be killed. But Joseph went and did the deliverance, because Joseph is a metaphor of Yeshua going to Egypt and then coming out of Egypt through deliverance, through Moses. That's why even Yeshua had to go to Egypt first, the first part of his life, so that this could be fulfilled. He would come from Egypt and do exactly another deliverance that was permanent. And this deliverance involved you as well, the heathen here. Are we understanding this? Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Verse 12. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man.
Yeah, because then he will bring back the children of Israel after they have understood that he's the Messiah who has brought in peace. Let us go now to 15. We just read 15 and 16.
The Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine.
So what do you think that is? It's a Pentecost. When they make noise as though through wine. You know, that was going to happen after he has come, become a prisoner and bring in peace, and then bring out the Ruach, give us the Holy Spirit. Let us go down and finish it.
And they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners
Filled
of the
by
altar.
the Holy Spirit, and what? And then what?
And as the corners of the altars.
That's right.
And the Lord their God shall save them in the day as a flock of his people. For they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land.
So he's going to be bringing us out and also being part of the family. But it all had to happen after he died, after he came on that colt, on that ass. So here we see that the gospel of John, as we have seen, brings out the metaphor of Yeshua according to the allusions of the temple in the New Testament, how the temple things were. We see the gospel giving us a marked, allusion of this beloved Apostle John. And he's now relating Yeshua to the temple and his services. And John writes with an eye of detail, which others would not notice at all. Even others do. That's why he was ready to be. He believed so quickly. They went to the grave and they did not find the Lord in. John just believed. Peter was, Thomas was doubting. Are you getting me? But John clicked. Why? Because everything he was relating to the temple services. And so I went on to understand, as I was given revelation, that according to the Jewish tradition, the high priest read the divine answer of the Urim. You know the Urim and Thummim, the stones that are on their breast? The answer to them by a heavenly light cast upon special letters in the names of the tribes. You know they had 12 tribes here that were engraven on their breastplate. And so to John, the presence of the word of Yeshua seemed to render luminous the well-remembered services of the temple, like how the priest used to bring out what the Lord was giving them as the light illuminated them. So the Lord was just giving him a flash on that light to understand everything in the temple. And so this was so frequent, and it appears in the gospel as we read even the book of Revelation. He brings out all these metaphors of the temple. When we see him mingling, prophetic symbols in his worship and praise, even in the Revelation, as we go along, we're going to go deeper into that. There's one thing that really shook me, and it made me understand that he knew exactly. We did not really understand when Peter was going to betray the Lord. Let us go there in John as Peter is going to betray. You go down, I think you go down when he's betraying the Lord. In John, I think, in John 18, 15 and 16. Here we see that the priests did not allow Peter to come in. When Peter denied the Lord 3 times, they came together there in the courtyard of the priest, and because John was also a Levite, he was allowed to enter the courtyard. And we see that at the palace porch, we see that Peter was not allowed, and then a damsel comes in. Are you there where Peter is in the book of John?